So, Mike, you're really passionate about CrossFit.
Yes, I am. How'd you know?
Well, a few clues. Maybe because I CrossFit too. And, I think there's a really interesting perception out there around CrossFit, and, it's a macho sport, it's hard, it's not for everybody, it's for elite athletes, it's an exclusive club, and lots of other things. So I guess
It's all those, yeah.
It's all of those and more.
Yeah, go on.
But I guess I'm curious, if you think about CrossFit, I'm curious about what is it about CrossFit that you enjoy?
Good question. Well, first of all, I didn't know I was going to enjoy it, because I guess when I started CrossFit, I probably had some of that stuff in my head too, that it was very much around competitions. It was one of the things, because I'd only heard it seemed a very competitive type of sport. And I guess my only exposure to CrossFit was really seeing some competitions and thinking everyone went to do CrossFit to then compete. And I really didn't want to compete. I had no interest in competing. So one of my fears was going into it that I was going to be forced to compete, or was going to be with people who were trying to compete. So I thought it'd be a very competitive environment, and it's just not.
Interesting.
I thought it would be full of heroes, for want of a better term, full of people who just friggin' show ponies, showing off. The very fit, strong boys showing off what they can do, and the fit girls showing off what they can do, and because there's some beautiful looking bodies, and there's some amazing athletes, that them showing their skills and showing what they can do was a big part of CrossFit.
And is it?
No. There is some amazing athletes, and I think that's what's in both double-edged sword. It's inspirational to see what some people can achieve, and we're talking people from 16 to 60 can achieve. And there's some amazing, physically amazing, but just amazingly energetic, fit people who go to CrossFit. There is a small percentage of people who are elite in anywhere you go, and they're amazing to watch, but they're inspirational, because you can almost think, wow, there's something incredible about watching someone do a movement that you're trying to do, and do it so well that you're inspired to keep going. So there's inspirational side, but no, there was none of that posing, that bullshit posing that you get in a lot of gyms. And coming from the fitness industry, I've been to a lot of gyms, and you get those idiots who pose and they prance and they wear their makeup and they do all that shit in the gym. Whereas CrossFit's not. It's almost cool in a CrossFit gym to not be a poser, to be grungy, because CrossFit by nature forces you to, not forces you, but it allows you not to have to dress up and prance around, and the appearance of yourself is not important, because you are going to get sweaty, you are going to lift bars, you are going to step on boxes, you are going to handle equipment. So if you're dressed up to the nines and you're all princessed up, it's just not going to work for you. And so it forces the sort of person who doesn't want to pose and princess to come along. So therefore you're in a group of people who are there purely to exercise. They're not there for anything else.
So you don't have the heroes.
You don't have heroes.
It's not about competition.
No, on saying that, there's a small element. If you want to compete, there's a bunch of people who love the spirit of competition. They'll happily train with you and support you and guide you and give you shitloads of direction. And if you say, I would like to try a competition, and I've done that, tried a competition, there's a bunch of experienced coaches and participants who would love you to go on that journey and support you, but there's never ever any pressure to do any sort of competition. You have to almost put your hand up and say, look, I'd really like to give this a crack. And then someone will give you support.
And I've seen that. I've seen the people who come along to the gym and they're probably as far from competing as you could possibly imagine. They're overweight, they can't lift a lot, they're not very fit, and they are often the people that say, I've always wanted to compete and I'd love to have a go. And in a regular gym, people would look at those, you couldn't possibly do a competition, but CrossFit's not like that, is it?
No, and
they're welcomed.
Very welcomed. And I mean, at CrossFit, just the structure of the entity that is CrossFit allows competition for all shapes and sizes and levels. So if you are an over 50 deconditioned female who just decides she wants to do a competition, she's not going to be chucking in with a 30-year-old trying to compete. She is going to be going to a CrossFit competition with ladies just like herself at a similar level, and everything's going to be scaled for her. So if she does decide to do a competition, she's not going to feel out of place. She's going to be doing a competition with others just like her.
Okay.
So there's that real sense of comfort that you're not going to make a bloody idiot of yourself at a competition. So I think that's what encourages people who would never normally think, I could compete. Thinking, hang on a second, I can compete because old mate over there is exactly the same as me, and old mate over there is exactly the same as me, and they're competing. They've only done this for 6 months and they're still struggling, but we can all compete and have some fun together.
Right.
So that's what kind of almost encourages the non-competitors to compete, because it makes the entry is really quite easy.
It's almost reverse psychology.
Yeah. It's not daunting at all.
So what else is it about CrossFit that draws you to it? That you've been CrossFitting for a while now. What keeps you going? What keeps you going back?
It's interesting, I'm going to use my fitness background because having owned and run health clubs, which is sort of my thing from years ago, and we had a strong focus on business and sales and memberships and blah 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 blah. Really, one of the core values of CrossFit, which is totally different, is the first thing they drill into you at a CrossFit is please introduce yourself to all new members. Please get to know everyone. So this not about the rules and the guidelines and the etiquette. It's about please make this place a community.
Right.
Please be friendly and welcoming to everyone. And especially if someone's new, make the effort to go and say hi, make the effort to go and welcome them, and make the effort to spend some time with them during the exercise so you get to know them. So there's this first thing you get hit with when you walk into a CrossFit studio is this overwhelming friendliness where everyone says g'day, everyone waves and says hi. People come up to you during and say, well, geez, your first time, welcome, hope you enjoy it. People get to know your name. No one talks about rules and guidelines and other stuff before they've got to know you. We should walk into a lot of gyms and the first thing they do is an induction. And you go through this bullshit questionnaire of induction and you get marched through and told you've got to do this and you can't do that and these are the rules, here's the guidelines, you wear this, you say this, you don't say it. And it's all rule-based and you feel intimidated before you've even stepped a foot into the exercise floor. CrossFit is very, very different. From the second you walk in, you're in the exercise floors, there isn't a reception. Often you're walking into the CrossFit box and you're actually in the training area before you get to reception. Right. Which is a unique concept because in a lot of gyms you walk into this sterile hospital reception and back there behind the walls is the exercise area. You don't get to see or touch or do anything until you've been to see a membership person. Right. CrossFit, you walk in, you see a coach. Yep. You see a person who exercises who's going to coach you. You're in the gym. You're walking and talking and looking at the CrossFit box itself. You're not at reception getting a tour or anything structured, but there's this overwhelming welcoming feelings. That's why I love it. I love that. I love seeing new people come in, and now because I'm not a new person and I'm a bit more experienced, I love seeing new people and picking them out and saying, g'day, I was like you a little while ago, and I know you're struggling. It's going to be a bit tough to start with, but you know what? You're going to love it here.
And what about all the exercises? Because again,
they're crap.
People will say, "Oh, but it's so complex," or "There are so many things to learn," or those are exercises that I can't do. What's your experience?
I think it's almost what I love because yes, there's stuff to learn. There's no doubt about it. It's not something you don't go every time and do the same thing, and that I love that. Some people don't, which I find a bit strange. But I love the fact that every time you show up to a CrossFit box, the program that you are going to do is different to the previous day's program. It will be using some similar activities and similar exercise and some functional movements are the same, but it will be fundamentally different, a different order, a different arrangement for variety. Now, having said that, and that sounds like it could be quite daunting, having said that, in CrossFit there's probably 100 fundamental movements. Right. And over time, you're probably going to use, say, 20 or 30 of those regularly, and the rest you're going to learn over time. Okay. Once you expose those and you learn them, one of the exciting things of CrossFit is to get better at some of those core functional movements. Right. For example, a squat with a bar. Right. It's just something you do, whether it's a front squat or a rear squat, you're going to do it in CrossFit. And you're going to learn the technique and the coach is going to help you. And then one of the good things is you're going to improve over time and you're going to get really comfortable doing a squat. And it's really nice, every month upon month, you're getting better and better at those functional exercises. And what that means is every time you turn up for a session, there's something in that session that is one of those core exercises that you've got better at. And you're going to feel better doing it. Now, whether better is better technique, better weight, more repetitions, whatever it might be, whatever better is to you, you're going to feel better. And so there's this constant improvement thing with CrossFit. You just feel better, you get better.
But isn't it all competitive again? People say to me, Lynn, isn't CrossFit all, PBs, your personal bests, and I can lift this, and I can do this many pull-ups, and I can do all sorts of weird names. I can do Fran in, 3 minutes 20, and I can do Helen, and I can do all these, these strange names, and it's a foreign language.
Yeah, I can hear those. I can hear the noise. Hear the noise of the people saying that. And to be honest, I was probably one of those people who didn't get that noise and didn't understand what all that meant. Having been in CrossFit now, it all makes sense. And it's all for a reason. Is it competitive? No. Can you be competitive? Absolutely. Are most people competitive? If they are, it's probably against themselves. It is against their personal best. So if you turn up tomorrow and there is a particular routine that you've done before, then you're going to be competitive. Can I do this better?
So it's really competing against yourself.
Absolutely.
So you're not competing. So I wouldn't be competing against you.
Well, you'd lose.
We're not pitched against each other. Never. But we'd be competing against ourselves and trying to beat our last time, for example.
So, for example, one of the reasons we name the workouts with different names, we have some core workouts and we give them a name. So Fran's an example. Fran's a workout that is one of those workouts that will turn up on a regular basis in most CrossFit boxes. And it's a great workout to do because it's one of those baseline workouts that you'll do it 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year if you go to a box regularly. But each time you do it, you'll be able to compete against yourself and improve your score. Now, whether that's a reduction in the time, an increase in the number of repetitions or weight, it's a cornerstone workout with a name. And if you want to document it, write it down and do personal best you can. But it gives you that chance to monitor your progression against a workout that is the same workout every time you do it. So it's a really cool way to test that you're getting the results or you're improving. And so that's why it works. And you can either choose to do that. For the first 6 months, I did those workouts over and over again. I never measured, never tested, never counted, never worried. I was just thinking about being able to do the exercise, being able to do the actual technique. And then you get to the point, you do the technique, you know what, could I do it a little bit heavier? Or could I do some more? Or could I improve? I got 9 minutes, could I do it in 8 minutes? And you get a little bit of can I improve myself? And that's what's exciting. CrossFit allows you to do that yourself.
One of the things I love about CrossFit, I love watching newbies come into the box and go through that journey that you went on, start to understand the different disciplines, the powerlifting, the weightlifting, the gymnastics, because they're all in there. All those different disciplines are in there, the cardio, and they get better at the movements, like you said. And then they start to lift heavier, and then they gain confidence and they go faster. And just watching that journey, which is actually quite rapid once you get going, watching that journey and then watching that passion ignite. And then you know that once somebody's hooked, that's it, they're hooked for life. So here you go, Mike, last couple of questions. What's your least favourite movement in CrossFit?
I think everyone says burpees, but actually I don't mind burpees because I've got to give you credit for this. You have shown me over time how to do burpees better.
I love burpees.
You love burpees. So I've taken 6 inches off my legs now and a lot shorter now. So for a tall person, burpees are difficult and everyone hates burpees or has a challenge. For me, it's the throwing, it's the snatch and the clean. Any bar work above my head. Just my flexibility in my shoulders I find tough. So I'm always challenged when there's any workouts where I have to throw a bar above my head. But on the other side, I love it because I'm getting so much better. And almost like now, when I look at it, it's like, that's good. I get to try it again to see if I can improve it. I used to be scared shitless of it, dropping the bars, head to my shoulder. Now I've gone through that, and now I'm actually a little bit more excited to challenge myself.
It's a big confidence thing, right?
It's a very, weights, moving any weights is a confidence thing.
Very technical, those movements.
And a lot of time people, especially, I've done weights for a bit, but a lot of people have never lifted weights above their head. So just the act of taking the average person and putting a bar in their hand and getting them to put it above their head, for a lot of people, that's something they've never done. So it's quite a daunting movement.
But how awesome, because then that translates into everyday life, because you've strengthened and stabilised the whole body. All right, so here's the last one. So that's the movements you don't like. What's your absolute favourite movement of all time?
Absolute favourite. I'm going to go with chin-ups. So because I used to be shit at them, and now I'm getting better, and now I can do more chin-ups than my kids, which is exciting. Can beat the kids, which is a big thrill. I think chin-ups are one of those things where you can't, there's nothing about a chin-up.
Chin-up or a pull-up?
Well, I'm calling it a chin-up because I'm just going to use the terminology. There's nothing about a chin-up or a pull-up, grabbing a bar and hoiking your body above the bar in any way, shape or form, whether it's a pull-up, whether it's a reverse or an overhand or whatever sort of grip you've got. There's nothing you can cheat.
Yeah.
With other things, you can lighten the weight, you can change the bar, you can fart around with it. With a chin-up, you've got to grab a bar that is above your head, and you've got to hoik your body up to a point where your chin goes over the bar in some way, shape or form. You can't bullshit that, you can't cheat that.
Yeah.
And so I love it because I can be right alongside anybody else, and it's even Stevens.
Yep.
Because it doesn't matter what age, weight, size, shape, experience we have, we are on ground zero. We both have to grab that bar and pull it up.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool level exercise, and I'm getting better at it. And so I'm getting able to challenge myself against some of the fitter guys and girls and feeling a bit better about it. So yeah, that's my fave.
Very cool, very cool. So it sounds like anybody out there who is thinking about CrossFit should give it a go.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. I think one of the first things is to don't believe the bullshit about CrossFit. Don't listen to your friends about CrossFit. Don't read what other people's opinion are about CrossFit.
Yeah.
Because every dickhead has an opinion on CrossFit, and half of them have never been to a CrossFit box.
Right.
So if you're thinking about starting wellness, starting movement, starting exercise, and CrossFit is one of those things you're considering, just switch off everyone else, go along to a box, give it a crack, meet a coach, have a chat, do it for yourself, decide for yourself, and make your own decision on whether CrossFit's right for you. Because I think if you do that, there's a far greater chance you're going to get a better picture of what CrossFit's all about.
Sounds like great advice, and I think more people should try it.
Time for a workout.
Let's do it.
Cheers.